Please help me welcome Claudia Vogrin. A loving response, Claudia Vogrin.
Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and welcome guests. Thank you very much. As we are talking about a very sensitive issue, I have some pictures here that you'll get to see. These were some of the young people actually that were killed at the tragic shooting in June in Orlando. Who knows a member of the gay community? What message have we given them? I know what I thought about the gay community, and I made that very clear when a number of my friends came out as gay in 2012. I let them know that I didn't want to be friends anymore and I didn't want anything to do with them. Is that unbelievable? How arrogant I was. Rejection from family and friends had pushed them to the only place they're really welcome, the gay bars and the gay clubs. On June 16, 2016, 49 innocent people were murdered as the gunman entered a gay bar in Orlando. How many of these victims were pushed away from their close family and friends just for the fact that they were gay? Would some of them be alive today if they weren't at that bar, if they would be with their family and friends? But the people that I know have been pushed to the gay bars. In 2012, when my friends gave up, when I found out that my friends were gay, when they came out, so many of them, I found so many of them were gay, and I thought, what is the reason? Were they born that way? Was it developmental? So they must have chosen it, and certainly if they chose it, they could choose to change too. Or can they? For the past 4 years, I've been researching, talking to counselors, interviewing men and women who were gay, and I was shocked at what I learned. I found that same-sex attraction is often caused by a number of factors in the developmental process. It's not something they choose, just like heterosexuals have not chosen to have an interest in the opposite sex. Homosexuals have not chosen to have an interest in the same sex. The following are some of those factors. At the core of same-sex attraction is a sense of not belonging, not fitting in and feeling rejected. For a lot of the boys, they have a sensitive, more artistic or musical nature. For a lot of the girls, they have a masculine nature. Now, we're not talking about one of these factors causing homosexuality. We're saying a lot of factors together that it's more likely that if someone has those factors that they may be gay. And when you hear someone that was gay and went straight, maybe they only had one of the factors. Maybe they didn't have all of them. So the boys often have a dominating mother. The girls often perceive their mother to be cold and distant. A boy may perceive his father to be passive or absent. It may not be that way, but that's his perception. In almost every individual who experiences the same-sex desire, there's a strong sense of detachment from the same-sex parent. Body image wounds, boys that may be shorter, girls that may be heavier, it causes them to feel inferior. Rejection from peers. A lot of them have been sexually abused, and they have been exposed to porn at a young age, and that makes a difference. So during puberty, these unmet emotional needs are experienced as sexual feelings with the rise of hormones. They try to fulfill those unmet needs through attachment to the same sex, through sexual relationships. So they're just trying to fulfill those needs that weren't met. So why do many in the gay community experience such a high suicide rate. It's actually because of the rejection that a lot of us have given them. I've been in touch with an organization that had a nationwide study. They interviewed families of the gay community, and this is what they came up. They showed that among the conservative families, when a young person would come out, they would force their children out of the home. They picked them up. So this is very alarming. Study finds alarming number of gay teens are homeless. You know, when a parent kicks out their gay teen, maybe they think that another family is going to take them in, but a lot of them are homeless. Well, they're not safe in the streets, but the gay people aren't safe within the shelters. They get abused within the shelters too. And then worse than that, LGBTQ, or the gay community, the youth, they're at high risk for becoming human trafficking victims. You know, the parents should think about these things before they kick out their children. And these are the conservative children that are getting kicked out onto the street. They're not street smart. They've not had to be. Picture this. A teenage boy who is gay has been kicked out of the home. He's living on the streets. A nice-looking man comes over and becomes his friend. He has a good job for the boy. So he goes with the man. The man welcomes him into his house and treats him very well to gain his trust. And this is what happens. He then begins to beat the boy with chains, starves him, locks him in the closet, or sometimes in the trunk of the car. He's using psychological tactics to make the boy afraid to run and to tell him. The young boy then is trafficked into prostitution in Chicago, and the pimp makes $400 a day. The boy's moved from state to state, so he's disoriented and he cannot be found. And his parents, who kicked him out, have no idea of where he is and that they've caused this, what they caused when they made him leave home. I believe it's our responsibility to become educated on the development of homosexuality in order to prevent this from happening to any child. And yes, it can be prevented. You saw there's those factors, and the number of other factors too. It can be prevented. This Dr. Joseph Nicolosi, he's a pioneer in helping the homosexual community. He has a parent's guide to preventing. If the parents would know what to do, those children would have much happier lives. But either way, that's one resource that we have. Now, most of us know someone who's gay, and their lifestyle is not accepted by the mainstream, so they suffer physical and mental issues. So through research, I've changed from a position of avoidance to a position of acceptance. I think it's time for us to look beyond what they are and see who they are. This is a very good book. It's the best book I've found, and you don't have to be a parent of a gay, but it's Gay Children's Straight Parents. A Plan for Family Healing. It's excellent. If you know anyone that's gay and you want to share this title with their family and friends, it definitely will heal them. And I've used this. It's wonderful. Will you reach out to the gay community with compassion? And will you share important information, this important information with others? If you're interested, I can email the transcript of this talk along with the supporting materials. So together we can save their lives. Thank you.